Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is the real KMGH. So, basically, we as me myself, went to go watch the series, about a four-part episode, called The Eyes of Wakanda. So basically, it is an animation. It comes from Marvel Studios and, of course, Disney Plus. So you can catch it on Disney Plus. And it's actually, like I mentioned, it's an animation. It's really good. It's based on Wakanda. Um, and it's not like, oh, it's got a Black Panther and everything. No, it's basically what Wakanda has been doing throughout time, okay? And especially when it considers the vibranium. This series, this four-part mini-series, you could say. I don't know how many is coming. I didn't do much research on it. Sorry about that. If there's more coming out, fantastic. But basically, this series depicts at least, what Wakanda has contributed to history. And in a sense, it's not even Wakanda trying to contribute to history. It's basically just Wakanda being themselves and kind of really protecting the vibranium ore that they have. Okay, so basically, the Eyes of Wakanda is basically a time traveling spin-off series, and it shows us just how involved the Wakandan nation are with the rest of the world's history. Okay, Wakanda have their own Black Ops group. We all heard this in the first Black Panther film, which was the War Dogs. The War Dogs are those agents that are all out around the world, and they are the ones that basically keep tabs. They do the espionage. They gather intel for the Wakandan nation, and basically these are the top spies. These are the James Bonds. Okay. Uh, the War Dogs were tasked with finding basic in this animation. The War Dogs were tasked with finding and basically stealing every item that consists of vibranium because Wakanda says that vibranium only belongs to them, even though the vibranium somehow ended up in a land far, far away. Wakanda's like, that's ours, and we're gonna go get it back. Okay, so I thought the series I thought in the series that these items are all stolen from the Wakandan Empire, and a episode there are a few items that are from Wakanda. To be honest, that would be the first episode. Those are definitely from Wakanda. Okay, but the other items in the series are not from Wakandan. They are not from the Wakandan nation. Okay, um, but they do contain the vibranium. But to Wakanda, every item, like I mentioned earlier, belongs to Wakanda, which is a very crappy look if you think about it, because that's basically saying this fantastic, this rare mineral only belongs to us. Yeah, I know you found it in your nation, but it's ours. That's basically what Wakanda's like in the series, and it's kind of they kind of like a big baby. Okay, but it's cool to watch this series because this series takes place throughout time on Earth, or basically through quite a few historic events in history, which is cool. It's a new viewpoint to see, but please understand, it's all just fictional. Okay, this is not real. This is the MCU. It's not real. It's fictional. It's their part. It's their take on Wakanda and history. That's basically it. So please, millennials, don't go tell your children, well, when Troy fell, Wakandans only went looking for a diamond necklace. Okay, let's not. We're not gonna get into that. Um, so in the series, Wakanda does play a. I mean, they have such an attitude. I've been saying it the whole time now. All the vibranium belongs to them. They have nothing. That's actually quite weird. They have nothing to do with the outside world, but they're involved in the outside world because some of the agents, the war dogs, are actually involved in history, right? But nonetheless, the only reason why the Wakandans are taking these vibranium materials from every single place around the world is because somehow they say that the vibranium will lead back to Wakanda, which is kind of like impossible unless you find the war dog who can lead you to Wakanda. And the other thing is that the Wakandans don't really want the rest of the world to have this ore because it's basically too powerful. Or in a sense, when the world really doesn't understand what kind of material the vibranium is, they might make war machines which they cannot control, and Wakanda believes they're the only ones that can use and actually control the vibranium. Which, if you come to think of it, is like that's a massive attitude. It's like, the gold is mine. I know to use it. We know how to purify the gold. The gold belongs to us. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like lame. It's cheap. Okay. What's kind of funny is that during this entire series, Wakanda has really, really invented almost everything. Um, there is an episode where the dude is actually with Achilles of Sparta and they're invading Troy. And he just presses a button and his arm and the vibranium armor just pops out like all magic and it's got like power. They're the only ones that have this kind of technology apparently. And apparently they can text. They can text in an era where phones didn't even exist yet. Not even a satellite exists. They can already text. So basically, Wakanda has developed everything. They've even made cars before cars were made. They didn't have tires. Apparently, they couldn't make rubber because the the vehicle's tire is made out of metal or vibranium. You could say it's like a metal wheel. They've had everything. Look, it is cool to see Wakanda. It is cool to see these things like, oh man, Wakanda's really been involved. But all they've been doing is going around the world stealing trinkets and magic and items that have the vibranium mineral on it. That's basically the only thing. But it was cool to watch from as a viewer to see the action. There's a lot of cool action scenes in here. Apparently, there's a lot of martial arts. There is a twist in the story. Basically, I'm gonna might as well go into spoilers now. Basically, in the last episode, you find out that the Black Panther from the future, I think 2500 somewhere, comes to the past because they're being attacked in the future by these bugs, which apparently in the MCU is like the climax. That's the ultimate threat ever, apparently. So she needs the war dog and the prince because they're on a mission, basically to get another item that is vibranium. This Black Panther needs them to put the item back where it is, so that the future and the past together will push at least one of the Black Panthers or the Black Panther that is needed to basically open Wakanda up to the world. So if you understand what that means, that is basically Black Panther 1 and Black Panther 2, where Wakanda reveals that, okay, we're Wakanda, we have all of this cool stuff. Would you like us to help you? But, all of that. And basically, the end of that episode, when they do put this item back, it ends with the shot of Michael B. Jordan from Black Panther 1. Michael B. Jordan standing in the museum looking at the item again. That is the item that they had to put back, which is what they took, apparently. So, yeah. That was actually, pretty short. But basically, it's just Wakanda being assholes. Wakanda stealing items and all of that stuff and saying that we are number one. And a lot of martial arts and a lot of covert ops. And basically a giant threat that apparently, if Wakanda is not involved with the world in facing this threat, then the world fails. So Wakanda is made to be very, very important in the series. But, since I am already in spoilers, boom, gonna go straight to episode 1. If I can remember, because I have not written this down. I've finished what I've written down. Now I'm going straight from my head. The first episode basically takes part where a former Dora Milaje, this woman with a bald head, yeah. Now, one of these ladies who decided she's not going to be part of the Dora. She's basically going to find her own path. She's then brought back in and said that, look, this dude who is second to the Black Panther in terms of fighting skills, he's second. And then there's the Black Panther. Not to mention he's a high-ranking official and a great warrior. Yeah, he's gone AWOL and he took vibranium items, weapons along with him. So basically she is sent out to go fight, because everybody that has been sent out to go find this guy and take him down is actually people that he trained himself, so he knows all the moves. That's why he most likely could beat him. But he did not train this one, and her name is Noni. Or Noni. N-O-N-I. Noni. So she goes out. This guy, as you can see in the trailer, like that's for him, that's her. He's really got like his whole empire, which is kind of like a Theon Greyjoy's fleet. You know, he's got a lot of ships, and he's got people, warriors from all nations, because he's basically conquered these nations. And yeah, I think Wakanda just sent out Noni because the Wakanda can't really have another nation who is as strong as them, and apparently who knows where Wakanda is and are using Wakandan technology. So Noni does find him. He's called the Lion. Noni fights him. He blows himself up. Noni goes back home, only remembering that the lion's been telling her the whole time, like as a war dog, freedom, not being stuck in a cage, being in Wakanda, everything for Wakanda, but actually living a life and being free. That is what actually a war dog sees. War dog experiences freedom and seeing the rest of the world, which is kind of funny because her character Noni doesn't seem like she's all interested in that. But that episode ends. We move on to episode 2, which is the yeah, which then puts us in the time of history where Troy gets invaded by the Spartans, right? And that's where you find Achilles, and apparently there is a Wakandan. I mean, the minute you see a black dude, you'll be like, that's a Wakandan. It's a given. So he's Wakandan. For 9 years, he's been finding this trinket that is of vibranium ore, and he does find it. And apparently, he is the one. He's best friends with Achilles. Achilles finds him. He's like, "What are you doing?" They basically get into a fight, and the Wakandan is the dude who is responsible for defeating Achilles, one of the greatest warriors in history. All because he was looking for a vibranium ore or necklace, and when he found it, Achilles just wouldn't let him go. And in order to basically complete the mission for Wakanda, even being 9 years out there with the Spartans away from Wakanda, I mean, how does a person even find their way across the world in that time? I mean, we're talking about Greek. We're talking about Greek times, okay? Sparta. Do you know how far that is? Jeez, it's far. But apparently, okay, he completes his mission. He kills Achilles. He goes back to Wakanda, only to find, and that's where we find out that the director, or the new director of the War Dogs, is Noni. But she's like older. She's got grey hair. Yeah, apparently she decided to join the War Dogs, which you will see at the end of the first episode. And she becomes, after years and years of experience being part of the War Dogs and climbing up the ranks, she becomes the director. And basically, the character that she's talking to, he, that's the guy over there you can see in the trailer. He has been outside in the real world for 9 years, coming home to Wakanda, doesn't even feel like it's his home anymore. Which is so kind of, it's so strange. He's out there in Sparta, right? Now you understand what time, what era we're talking about. Sparta and Troy. Almost like Jesus times, okay? Almost like Jesus times. Almost like Kratos times. We're talking about that. He comes back to freaking Wakanda and he's wearing a freaking shorts and a t-shirt. Like it's 2000. Like he's on the beach. And he's got crutches and everything. That's Wakanda's so advanced. Their fashion has even gone generations, centuries before. It's so strange. I don't know if they left that one out or anything. But yeah, in the end, he says he doesn't, being out of Wakanda, protecting it and finding this relic. It's been so long that. Now that he is back home with people that he should know, he feels less at home than being out in the real world, and basically he asks for another task to go out into the real world because he feels more at home there than in Wakanda, which is, I would say, that's kind of the that's kind of the name of the game. If you've been doing things like the way they've been doing, you kind of do miss home, and then at the same time when you come home, it doesn't feel like the same place that you want to be anymore. Which yeah, I'm sure everybody might understand, depending. So that was episodes 1, 2. Coming to episode 3, the third episode. Can I even remember? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, cool. The third episode, I must be right with this one. The third episode is a dude that actually crash. You find it in the episode, he crash lands there with his jet. He has a jet, okay? He's in the snow, somewhere in China, Mongolia, or whatever, up in the mountains. He gets nursed back to health by this beautiful Asian woman. Um, and then he's been there for like a couple of weeks, and it was a blizzard. But basically, when he does find a when the blizzard does calm down, he sneaks out. He finds the vibranium item and he steals it. And it's a whole thing. Blah blah blah. He runs back. He gets into his jet and he flies off back to Wakanda. Mission complete. Les, he didn't know that somebody stored away at the back of his jet, which was actually the chick that nursed him back to health, which is also wondering why he also stole the vibranium item, but to her and her people, it is a Chinese artifact, right? Um, a whole fight breaks out. The high officials are blaming him and his buddy for what's happening. But basically, we find out that this chick can fight. She takes on elite war dogs all in the cafeteria. We're talking about 10, over 10 elite war dogs. She takes them all down, and her fist starts glowing as she punches a few of them. Boom, there, yellow fist. Turns out she is the Iron Fist. She is actually one of the few first Iron Fists that we actually do get to see in the series or in the MCU. And hey, guess what? The Iron Fist has been introduced in the MCU, not the series. We all know about Danny Rand, but now with Wakanda, this is now where the Iron Fist actually gets introduced, which is cool. This is an a previous predecessor of the Iron Fists. She's super cool. She's super strong. She kicks ass. Nonetheless, I'm gonna make it short and sweet. The episode ends where they understand. They break off the vibranium. They give it to the Wakandans, and she takes her Chinese or Mongolian relic back, and they sneak off Wakanda back to her place, which is kind of weird how they do that because they'll be breaking a whole lot of protocols. So I guess with Wakanda, you can get away with a few things, especially if Wakanda didn't invent cameras, but they invented texting back when you were still fighting at Sparta. Last episode. Pause. Unpause. Okay. Last episode. It is based which is the fourth episode. Okay, there is a war dog who has made a name for himself for defeating so many foes, being involved in such, treacherous missions, and he's always made it back. He's a fighter. He's a hero. He's a legend. He's a living legend in Wakanda. And right now he is traveling with one of the princes of the Wakandan nation, the third prince, basically. So he's not the one that's going to be taking the throne. His older brother will, but nonetheless, he is one of the great princes of Wakanda, and he's looking for adventure. He's looking for excitement. He wants to make a name for himself, which is why he chose to be with one of the legendary war dogs. Nonetheless, this war dog actually doesn't want to be involved in such treacherous missions anymore, because he's obviously older, he's not that young, and what's really important to him is to come back home to his family and to have a mission complete safely and undetected by the enemy. That's basically what he does. Those things that he used to do that made him a legend, he was young, he was reckless, he didn't have a family at that time. Okay, he didn't have people waiting for him. Now he does, so he doesn't kind of play those games. He doesn't. He has now different rules in his life, and it's all about the family. Nonetheless, he needs to keep the prince safe, and at the same time, the prince is kind of like shadowing being a war dog. Okay, so the whole thing is to guess what? They gotta steal a vibranium item. And they succeed by stealing this vibranium item. And as they are driving back home, driving in a car, okay, they get attacked by this person who's got claws like a panther. And apparently, as they're fighting, the person says, "No, no, stop! I'm the queen of Wakanda from the future, the year 2500, blah blah blah. She says she needs them to put the item back where it's supposed to be, because if history is changed, Wakanda will not be there with the rest of the world to defeat the enemy that is now defeating Wakanda in the future, where she comes from." Um, and I want to cut it short because it's kind of boring to talk about it. Okay, but eventually, after much debate between the two war dogs, the prince and the legendary war dog, they eventually do take the item back to where it is. Okay, after much debate and belief, like, is this true that what this person says? They take it back and they put the item back. It's not that easy though. The legendary war dog does get himself pinned underneath concrete, but they both, the prince and the war dog, make it back to Wakanda, and they basically keep this whole thing a secret between the two of them, and they just tell the royals and they tell the rest of the officials, when we got there, it was already gone, destroyed, and basically mission is complete, because now nobody will ever find it because it is destroyed, which is a lie, because it has to be found in the future, thus setting up Wakanda to be finally revealed to the world and can be with the rest of the world when the massive alien invasion comes, not Thanos, and they will fight the alien invasion together with Wakanda, and because of that, the world will survive and win. Okay? And basically, that episode ends off with Michael B. Jordan from Black Panther 1, okay, standing in the museum looking at the item, which is the item that those two war dogs were supposed to steal, and that is the vibranium item that basically gets the ball rolling in the Black Panther films. Okay, so wow, I actually didn't know it was going to be so boring talking about the Eyes of Wakanda. What I liked about this series, it's a different view through history from Wakanda. Okay, we don't see really Black Panthers. What we see are the secret agents, the Black Ops, the War Dogs. Okay, it's crappy that Wakanda is just going around taking every single vibranium item that they can, um, because they believe it might lead to Wakanda, or because they believe that the world is not strong enough to protect themselves from the strength and whatever that the vibranium can develop. Okay, like, they are afraid that the world will create another atomic bomb type of weapon only with vibranium. Basically, that's what they're saying. The outside world is not smart enough or knowledgeable to understand the power. Only Wakanda does, which is why it must be kept with him. But yeah, Wakanda basically is the police for the rest of the world. They say that they are keeping the world safe, as well as keeping their country safe and not engaging with the rest of the world. And from what they, from their point of view, not getting involved. Okay, it was a 4 episode series. It is good to watch. It is actually quite fun. The animation is great. The heads are drawn weirdly. There's weird shaped heads. Okay, good voice actors. It's a fun thing. It's a fun series to watch. There is like fun, like, there are jokes in there. Um, I actually enjoyed it, and I would like to see a bit more. But at the same time, we've seen a lot of Wakanda over the past couple of years. We're not just talking about the Black Panther, but we're also talking about other series as well. Yeah, sorry about that. Like we've seen in other series, basically with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the Dora Milaje, they actually got their name now. The Dora Milaje were there. Um, and the Bucanas have been in so many other series as well. You know, Dora Milaje is everywhere. We see them all the time. All these bald ladies are everywhere. But nonetheless, it was a great series. Cool to watch with the family. I would like to see something else. Okay, something new. Something that we haven't seen from MCU. But yeah, it was a cool series to watch. I would say go take a look. It's on Disney Plus, and yeah, enjoy. It's only about 4 episodes at the moment.